what you get. It's what you get. What you see. What you see. It's what you get. It's what you get. I said what you see. It's what you get, my baby. It's what you get. And real healthy is the best thing yet. The best thing yet.
All right, look, this is a big interview for LDTV. I'd like to introduce everybody to a Fairmont Heights legend, Norfolk State legend, someone who has a great story to share with us about the school itself, its history, and also his wonderful story. So everybody, this is the legendary Mr. Harvey Dorsey. Thanks for coming, man.
Better known as Broadway.
Better known as Broadway. All right. Look, we want to start off with you as a what was your world like as a young kid, a kid? We want to talk about your elementary school and so forth. Tell us about that journey.
Well, started for me. I was born in D.C. and I lived off Nash Street in D.C. Northeast up until the age of 6. And then I moved to the Addison Chapel Apartments in Chapel Oaks, Maryland at the age of 6. And I attended Fairmont Heights Elementary School up until the 3rd grade when Beaver Heights Elementary School was built. So that's where I started my youth. In the 4th grade, me and my teacher, she had me back for some reason. And she had a TV in the room. And the World Series was on TV. And I started liking baseball because I saw the Milwaukee Braves and the Yankees playing in the World Series. And it just grabbed my attention. And that started me liking baseball. So I started playing baseball locally, of course, in the neighborhood, you know, with my friends and things of that nature. We played like every day, you know. And for whatever reason, I never had any brothers. I had 3 sisters. And, you know, I just became that leader off the top, you know. So I organized our games in our neighborhood in Addison Chapel Apartments, not only among ourselves, but different neighborhoods that we would play, you know. And they, in turn, the older people in the neighborhood saw how we played so well together. They made a backstop for us because we didn't have a backstop. You know, and the backstop was made out of chicken wire stuff. So we was impromptu, and we created our own little field bases and things like that. So we used to have games, and I guess they were so excited that the parents came out when they got off from work, and so these kids just playing and having a great time and not getting in any trouble at all. So that started me playing baseball. So, you know, I always liked school. You know, I always liked going to school. You know, because I was in 2nd grade, I was the May Day King. He was at the flagpoles and all that kind of stuff. So that was fun. And then on the Easter Sundays, I was in the Easter parade, you know, and so all those type of things was family oriented and fun for the family. You know, we participated, like I said, Easter parade in Baltimore. So that part of my life was exciting. I came from a stable family, thank goodness, mother and father, and three sisters. And we lived in a two-bedroom apartment, an Addison Chapel apartment. So we, had a good time as kids. We did little kid things and got a little trouble every now and then, but nothing big. We would do little pranks in the neighborhood and things of that nature. So and some of my friends today I grew up with in that neighborhood, which is great. So you're talking about 60 something years later, and we're still friends. So then we after elementary school, we went to then Fairmont Heights Junior High, Senior High School. Junior high school, middle school was in the high school. So, and after I graduated in sixth grade from elementary school, I went to Fairmont Heights as a seventh grader, and I'm in the school with my older sister, who was at the time she was a senior when I was a freshman at Fairmont Heights. So my middle sister was in the ninth grade. I was in the seventh grade. And so we just blended right in with the older kids and stuff. Then they kind of like led us and showed us the right way of doing things. And going back to my neighborhood, we had role model guys who took an interest in the kids. We didn't have really like organized like football and things like that, but we did have Little League baseball. And so Little League baseball is when I really, once we got organized from what we was doing on our own, Little League baseball, we joined teams, and I think North Inglewood was the team that we played. And we just played different communities, North Brentwood, Mitchellville, wherever where kids had organized, playgrounds. So we did that in the summertime. And so we had a great time. So baseball really, I really, really enjoyed it because, my heroes at the time was Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. That's when all the black Negro great ball players were playing in the 50s. So they were, I would watch them. Third base was my position, but I also could pitch. We could play really all the positions, but those were my main positions. And so I was like a player manager at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. So setting the lineups when we go play other people and things of that nature until we advanced to Little League organized. And then we had a nice little team that we had included the guys from Chapel Oaks who lived in the houses and North Inglewood and Chevy. So we formulated a team. I think a guy named Charlie Brooks, I think that was his name. I might be wrong. He was my first, baseball coach. So we played Little League baseball, and then after that, the Fairmont Heights, we started getting into the Fairmont Heights tradition of what Fairmont Heights really was. We had, people from North Brentwood, Lakeland, Mitchellville, Fairmont Heights, Chevrolet. I mean, all the blacks in that part of Prince George's County at that time, the plus central part and northern up, had to go to Fairmont Heights because that was the only high school. So we developed a bond early on. So we got to know each other. I mean, we was communicating with seniors. I know seniors from that day who I used to watch. When I used to leave Beaver Heights Elementary School, me and a guy, my play brother named Ike Floyd, we used to leave elementary school and go over and watch when Fairmont Heights in 58 and 59 was playing, DeMatha. They was playing Spinning on, Mackin, all these powerhouse teams. And Fairmont Heights was always, known to be a great basketball school at that time. And we had great players, Chicken Breast, Bill Carpenter. You had a guy named Bud Lou, Arthur Queen, Rodney Rice. Those are the first guys I saw making it happen, and it was very exciting. And I don't know how we was able to do that. It just happened. Because just the two of us, we used to go there, 3:30 once we got out of school, and then we couldn't have been no more 9 or 10, 11 years old going over there. So that was an eye opener for us as far as sports was concerned. So then after that, we in turn went to so when the seventh graders and the school was getting so overcrowded because there was so many kids, they finally built Bethune Junior High School, which is on Addison Road, still in the community. I could walk to it from my house. And so the 7th and 8th graders, mid-season of my 8th grade year, transferred over to that school. Okay, and so as 8th graders now, we was the seniors of the middle school. But after that initial that year, we went over there. Within that half year, with the February to June, we were now going back to Fairmont Heights High School. And so they started programs over there that we didn't have when we was in junior high. They had football team, they had a baseball team, they had all that. We didn't have none of that when we was in 7th or 8th grade. But thank God they started that and established that program. Kept a lot of kids in school, when you think about it. And so then, like I said, baseball was my first love. So I went out for the baseball team, and I was the only freshman on the baseball team for 4 years. And the only freshman. So I learned a lot from the guys who were seniors because I didn't start that freshman year. I was backing up a senior who was really, really good at third base. But I saw what was happening. So the second year, my sophomore year, then of course I was the starting third baseman for the next 3 years and led it for those 3 years. So, but I always liked to play football. I learned how to watching football when in 1958. Same situation. I got hooked up into the Baltimore Colts, and the greatest game I ever saw really, really made me really get into football. That was
vibration, 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 vibration.
The Giant defenders get set for a goal line stand. The ball goes to Amici, and he spins for 1 yard to the 7. United pulls another surprise. He whirls and passes all the way out to the sideline. Mutzler is there, and he makes his way to the 1. It's 3rd down. Will they kick or try once more for the touchdown? They elect to go for the 6 point. Ellen Amici dives through a huge hole, and the game is over. The Baltimore Colts win a historic overtime victory, beating the Eastern Conference champion New York Giants 23-17 in a truly magnificent come-from-behind effort. Let's watch again the play that made the Colts the world champions of football. The Colts clean everything out of the way, and Amici bounces on the touchdown turf as his delirious fans close in.
The sudden death championship game between the New York Giants and the Baltimore Colts. And Johnny Unitas was the quarterback, number 19, high top shoes. And for some reason, I was drawn to his game. And that's how I learned how to play quarterback, watching him, because he was a field general, excellent passer. could throw any kind of pass, and he had the ultimate respect from his players and his coaches. So I watched this guy because I think I had some of that in me already. He just helped bring it more out, and watching him playing, you know, gave me the confidence to be able to compete, especially after what I was doing in baseball. That just transferred over to football. So my sophomore year, but I always thought I was too small to play high school football. So sophomore year in gym class, we played games and things of that nature. And I guess the coach, who was my baseball coach, saw me in the gym and he said, well, I need you to come up for the football team. I said, well, coach, I'm too small. You're not too small. I'll get people to block for you. Don't worry about it. You just come on out here. So I said, okay, that was somebody showing interest in me and showing some confidence in me, and which gave me some confidence. So my sophomore year, I didn't go out, but I came out my junior year, and then my senior year is when I became a starter, and I was almost on the verge of having to transfer to another school to get an opportunity to play my senior year because we almost didn't have a team at all. And we lost players because of segregation. Buses started that year. So we lost key players to from North Brent went to Northwestern. We lost key players who left from Fairmont High School, went to Duval. They went everywhere their community, wherever they lived, that's where they had to go. Then this coach came in from Fredericksburg, Virginia, named Robert Cashwell. And he came in and he convinced me to stay. And we practiced for 2 weeks and we fielded a pretty competitive football team. Okay. But you got to understand at that time, all the schools that we was playing against, classification was AA, which had 2,000 and more students in their school. You see what I'm saying? So we was playing against, teams like Crossland. Guys was huge. Oxon Hill was powerful. Suitland was powerful. Bladensburg was powerful. There wasn't even a buoy at that time. Duval. So these were powerhouse schools, High Point High School. So we're playing against deep competition who had probably more equipment than us, had more coaches. We only had really two coaches. You see what I'm saying? And Coach Farmer and Coach Freeman. I think sometimes Mr. Ransom used to help out a little bit. But as far as full time, that was it. So, I learned, like I said, I learned how to play quarterback, not through the coaching of those guys, but watching Johnny Unitas on TV. That's how I learned how to drop back. That's how I learned how to go into the center. That's how I learned how to hand off and fake and all that kind of stuff. Just watching that. Thank God I was able to see things and pick them up
first introduced.
Eventually, everyone would know the name of this obscure former semi-pro quarterback. Johnny Unitas' career became the sport's most famous Cinderella saga.
This was somebody who came from a working class background, comes to a working class city, and refuses to put on airs. We liked him because he was tougher than any quarterback. The hits that Unitas took somehow added to the whole aura. Baltimore was bereft of any kind of glamour. And so when we began to win, it meant more to Baltimore than it would have meant to any other city.
And with the level of confidence, you can accomplish a lot of things. I became the starting quarterback, and we had a good team, but we lost a lot of seniors from the year prior. So we had a young team, and I was one of the few seniors on the team. So now we're trying to establish something with a whole lot of new face and a new coach, all at one time, But through all of that, I was fortunate enough to play well. And I was, we only won one game. We was in every game, but we only won. I can remember the time we played Bladenburg, and sometimes we was playing not only 11, but the other 4 referees. I can vividly remember when Bladenburg beat us 37-6, but they called 4 touchdown passes back. One of the touchdowns they called back, the dude had just crossed the goal line, and then a flag dropped out. So we had to deal with all of that, but we was very, very physical. We still stayed together, and we pressed on.
Harvey, was that so for the audience that'll be seeing this? We are alluding to racism.
Yeah, yeah. Some of us blatant, some of us subtle. You know, the subtle part got us. It wasn't in our face, at least that we could, because it was in our face. The kind of people we were from high school, we wasn't putting up with that. We gonna fight back. So it was subtle. And but you had to deal with it. And our communities were strong. Um, so we kind of like stuck together. We played together. We fought together. We had our little neighborhood cliques, things of that nature. Because you proud of your neighborhood, that type of thing. So we had territorial things, um, but we when we came to school, we was together. Because we had different factions of, like I said, where people were from. Majority of the kids who was going to the heights at that time was being bussed in. We might have had 20, 30 buses or more to bus kids in from wherever, whatever part of Prince George's County, they would bust in. And that bell would ring at what I think around 3:15. That means they was the first ones to go get out because they had to pack up all this stuff, go down where the buses are, and then they roll out. Like on game day, if we had a day game, they could stay as long as they could stay. But some of them wouldn't finish seeing the whole game because the bell rang. Or if we had a 3:30 game, if you that type of thing, you had to get back the best way you can if you wanted to see. We had no night games, back in the day. So Summer Heights, I can say, was very well covered by the media, the Washington Post, the Washington Times. They covered our teams. I see the coverage was better then than it is now. In the paper. So we was I must have about 4 or 5 scrapbooks. Um, Here's one right here. This is just football from high school on to college and to the professional opportunity I had. So we was in turn we was in a good place emotionally, I thought. Um, and we didn't let things get us down. Um, we didn't look at a lot of things, I guess, as blatant racism as you might see it today, because it's talked about more today. Um, and we knew in 1954 Brown versus Brown was passed, so that opened up some door. And then the civil rights law was passed, what, 60, 63, 64, and then the voter rights law was passed in 65. So we was a part of the movement. We was a part of Martin Luther King, things that he was doing at the time. And
Dr. King, how are things shaping up now for tomorrow?
Things are shaping up beautifully. We have people coming in from all over the country. I suspect that we will have representatives from almost every state in the Union, and naturally a large number of people from the state of Alabama. And we hope to see, and we plan to see, the greatest witness for freedom that has ever taken place on the steps of the capital of any state in the South. And this whole march adds drama to this total thrust. Last Sunday, more than 8,000 of us started on a mighty walk from Selma, Alabama. They told us we wouldn't get here. There were those who said that we would get here only over their dead bodies. Well, talk. Yes. All the world today knows that we are here and we are standing before the forces of power in the state of Alabama saying we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around.
Well, it made me feel good about myself. It made me be proud to be black because we knew we knew the struggles that we was dealing with. We knew we was dealing with not the best hand that we dealt. We understood those things, which in turn we didn't use it as an excuse. You see what I'm saying? We didn't use it to say, "Oh, feel sorry for me." No, we're gonna do the best of what we have and what we got. So that was the message that Martin Luther King preached to us. And then also that was the early, and then Stokely Carmichael and them came out, and H. Rap Brown, and looking at the same thing but coming at a different way. No, we're not taking this from we're not turning the other cheek, by any means necessary. We're not doing none of that. So we had it coming from both angles, to be somewhat passive, but to also be aggressive. So this is a learning experience for young people, as young as we were at that time, to understand we all had our little bushes, Afro bushes, Black Proud. James Brown played a prominent role in our life because he was saying the social songs. Say it loud, I'm black and proud.
Say it loud. Say it loud. Look here. Some people say we got a lot of malice. Some say it's a lot of nerve. But I say we won't quit moving until we get what we deserve. We've been buked and we've been scorned. We've been treated bad, talked about, as sure as you born. But just as sure as it takes 2 eyes to make a pair, brother, we can't quit until we get our share. Say it loud. Say it loud. One more time. Say it loud. I've worked on jobs with my feet in my hand. All the work I did was for the other man. But now we demand a chance to do things for ourselves. We're tired of beating our head against the wall and working for someone else. Say it loud. Say it loud. Say it loud. Say it loud. Ow!
Those were message songs that resonated with us as youth. We talked about those things. We said we're not going to be second-class citizens. We're not going to feel that anybody's better than us because of the color of their skin. That's not happening. So that's the type of things we're putting our head in Fairmont Heights High School. To stand for yourself, stand up and be counted. Don't be subservient. Don't do that. And that's how I roll with it today. That's how you obviously get respect. In terms, you respect others as well. But getting back to that career of what that era taught me, we had such a beautiful group of seniors my senior year in high school that we created a thing called, on Thursday night we had a physics party, which means physics was a tough subject, so we all needed some help. So we would go over into different people's houses on Thursday nights. We'd go through our little physics things and to improve upon what we didn't obviously understand as well. And then after that, it was a social gathering. We had a party. Then Friday night we might have a get together. If somebody come as you are party, that's when blue lights in the basement and all those kind of things came into play. Saturday we might went to the beach together. This was like every weekend our senior year.
What was the beach?
What's that beach down there? Sandy Point.
It was Sand. So it wasn't Jones. It was Sand.
We was going to Sandy Point. You had some people going to Sparrow Beach and Carl's Beach and things like that. That's where all the shows was. I didn't particularly go there because I didn't have transportation to get there, and my parents said that they wasn't into that kind of entertainment, So we did those type of family things first, and then we did it as a unit at school. I got a lot of black and white pictures of those experiences and things of that nature. And of course, we had our little trips we took as far as groups was together. We went to New York as a senior class. We went to Philadelphia as a senior class, riding that train, and I could see us playing cards. And that was just a beautiful thing, man. So the key was that we understood who we were. We wasn't attacking one another. We was loving one another, and the beauty of it is we still do that to this day. You see what I'm saying? We still do that to this day, have special activities that it can involve us. We just had this last Saturday. We went to Memorial for Fairmont High fallen soldiers over the years, and they have it every year. So it's a school that still comes together because that beginning was so great. You see what I'm saying? We so proud of what we went to, and I hear people talking about their schools. They say, man, our school was never like that. And I just say I've been blessed and lucky to not only go to a school this unified, but then I went to a college that was even closer. So I just been really, Norfolk State was. I've just been blessed to be a part of all that. And
Tell us about that journey from your senior year, and tell us how you got to Norfolk and that freshman. Tell us about all those things.
Okay, so after I finished my high school football career, I was at a crossroads because I knew I wanted to continue to play football. I knew I was proving and developing even further, and I knew the only option at that time, if I didn't get a scholarship, was to go to Bowie State. And nothing, not to say anything bad about Bowie State, because it's nothing to say bad, but at that time they didn't have a football team. And my father, of course, he was the only one working in that household. My mother was a housewife and took care of the family, raised us just tremendously with so much love and care. Um, that's the only thing he could afford because that's where all my other sisters went to. That's what he could afford. They wanted to go to Morgan, but he could only afford to go to Bowie because it was a local school and the cost was not as much. So fortunately for me, it was as a coach, as a gym teacher that lived in my neighborhood, Addershop Apartments, and he always took a liking about to me. And he asked me one day, he said, Harvey, where you going to go to school next year? I said, I don't know. He said, well, do you want to go to school? I said, yeah. He said, do you want to play football? I said, most definitely. He said, I tell you what, I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna come up with a letter. We're gonna put what you did on that field. We're gonna say some things about you. Um we're gonna push you out there. We're gonna have to make some people notice who you are. So that's what we did. We drafted a letter and I sent it to 15 black schools.
Which were?
They call them HBCs now.
Which
They were little black schools then. But
It
they
was
was,
like five. Go ahead.
yeah, it was what was it? Of course, Norfolk State. I didn't even know nothing about Norfolk State at the time. Elizabeth City, Virginia State, and Central State from Ohio. Those are the four schools that responded to the letter. So, guy from Elizabeth City came up and he played for Easton, but he'd heard about me. So he came up instead of the coach. And so his name was Willie Stewart, the legendary Willie Stewart. Yeah, the legendary Willie Stewart, who became a legendary coach at Anacostia, and he was playing football at the time in Elizabeth City. His younger brother, Petey Stewart, was playing football with me at Fairmont Heights as a junior. I was a senior. So he came up and introduced himself and told me he wanted, try to get me to come there. So I listened to it. So then I got a letter from Virginia State, and I think the coach's name was, I forgot his name at the time. They sent a letter. So then one day, but nobody said of authority offered a scholarship. So one day, I think it was this fifth period, I was in class doing my classwork, and I was summoned to come to the gymnasium. Somebody wanted to see you. I said, okay. I came up, had on my school clothes, my shoes. I didn't have no tennis shoes on shoes. So it was this coach from Norfolk State, and his name was Bill Archie. He introduced himself to me, and I said, okay. He said, and he had a strong personality. And he said, let me see you throw. I said, where? Right here in the gym? He said, "You're right here in the gym." So I have, like I said, I have my school shoes on. I threw two passes. He said, "Don't throw them on. Don't throw them on." He said, "Where do you live? Where do you live?" Told him where I live. He said, I'll be over your house tonight, meet your parents. Came to my house. His personality was kind of like mine, kind of like aggressive and stuff like that. He saw something, let's go get it. I like this, We're not going to pet it. We're going to try to see what we can do. So he went on, he came to my house, convinced my parents that he would take care of me. He wanted me to come to Norfolk. He's going to offer me a full scholarship. He ain't never seen a film. But I'm thinking Cashwell had to put something in his head. My coach had to put something in his head positive, and he just saw. I guess he just saw me throw 2 times. He never saw nothing else, and so that's how I got to Norfolk State. So the key was 5 days after I graduated, he wanted me to come to Norfolk to get acclimated in that summer. And I was like, oh man, 5 days, man, I'm having so much fun my senior year with all these people, my peoples, man. But I had to go. And for them, then at the time, you talking about Virginia. He said, Virginia, man, Virginia, that's the country, man. You know how we thought. We even thought Parson Burlington was the country. You see what I'm saying? DC was DC. You see. So we drove down. My parents drove me down, and this is, fortunately for me, I'd kind of been used to being on my own in the summer. Riding the train to see my grandfather, spending some with my grandfather in Chester, South Carolina, summer. So it wasn't like I was intimidated by being away from home, because I was used to doing it, because I've been doing it since I was 9 years old up until I was 15, riding that train to Chester 9 hours every summer. So that wasn't the case. I was just saying, this is a whole new experience though, And so when we rode into Norfolk, and then I started seeing, man, they got movies on different corners, movie theaters. Then I saw, damn, the girls got on mini dresses. I said, this might not be too bad. So I got in Norfolk, and the coach, picked me up, introduced me to some of the guys who had gotten drafted by the pros, who were, seniors. That time was up, but they was training to go to camp, football camp.
Like who? What name?
Kenny Reeves was one. He was a different draft. Kenny Reeves. He was a strong safety. Would knock your head and my head off at the same time. Okay, that's how vicious he was. And another guy was named Lewis Turner, and he was drafted to the Cowboys as a wide receiver. So he they was my how would you want to say it?
Mentored you a little bit.
Mentors, yeah, my mentors at that time. So they took me under their wing, and I trained with them, and for that summer, and so for me going to a new place, I said, let me just watch, observe, see who's who, what's what. I didn't go in there like I know everything, because I didn't,
This is 1960.
66.
Oh, that's right, because you graduated 66, and then was Dandridge and Pee Wee Kirkland there or not yet?
Dandridge was there. Dandridge is a year ahead of me. We called him Pick. His nickname is Pick Dandridge. So Pick was there a year before me, and Pee Wee came 2 years after me. Pee Wee was older than me. Pee Wee took a different path, because he was making a lot of money. You know what I mean? And lots of money. Of money. And he had went to Kittrell Junior College and to get eligible to come to Norfolk State. And that's how he got to Norfolk State in '68. But I'll talk about him later on.
Okay.
So anyway, so once Kenny Reeves and Turner had a report to camp, then I got a break to come home for like 2 weeks before I had to go back to spring training. I mean summer training camp with the Spartans, you know. And I was told it was 6 quarterbacks, including myself, will be vying for this position because the quarterback from the year before had graduated as well. And I'll never get riding down there. And I was in the car. I was saying, I don't care how many quarterbacks they got down there. I'm gonna be starting. I don't ride the bench. What is that? You know what I mean? I don't know nothing about that. I can't handle that. You know. So the summer camp went, and a lot of the guys, you know, who were seniors and juniors, they was impressed with me. They was impressed with my style. They was impressed with my play. They was impressed with my confidence. They was impressed with my leadership at that age. You know, because I ain't weighed but 160 pounds at the time. First game we played, it was a senior. He started the senior quarterback, and I think we lost 32-17, something like that. So, and that was also the first year the CIAA integrated. Yes, so we had 3 white boys on our team. One was a center, one was a linebacker, and one was a punter. And they were from New Jersey. And, you know, Fred Nichols, I can remember him now, Chuck Malkin. So we got a lot of press behind that because he integrating this historical black colleges with white guys. So they was freshmen like me, so they didn't start. So I got in the 4th quarter. He put me in the 4th quarter. I guess I did okay. The next game we played Elizabeth City, and Johnny Walton was the quarterback from Elizabeth City. And Johnny Walton got an opportunity to go to the pros before me. Okay, he was a year ahead of me, and we went head to head for 3 years. I won 2, he won 1. But anyway, by the 3rd game, the second game we won 16-6, and it came to me in the 4th quarter, and the coach came and said, "How you want to go in the game?" I said, "Yeah, I want to go in the game. I want to throw this touchdown pass." So he always told that story years and years later, but I was real. I was being serious. That's what I was going to be doing, you know. So the 3rd game, we had a week off. I came home because we had a break. It's the first time I had a break since summer training camp. Came home, practiced with the team, and that Saturday morning, we were in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're playing them North Carolina Aggies, A&T, led by legendary Hall of Famer Elvin Bethea. Coach came to me that morning and said, "Harvey, I'm starting you tonight." And we just won the game 2 weeks before. So that's the last thing I'm thinking. You're not going to disrupt something that was, you know, plus you had a senior guy. So they had, and all through the preseason, they had a summer in the papers. Norfolk State's looking for a quarterback. Norfolk State's looking, trying to find a quarterback because we're replacing the guy from the year before. So we all vibing for this position. 2 seniors, two juniors, and a sophomore. No, freshman and myself. So he said, "You starting?" I said, "I'm ready to go. Let me turn me loose, baby. It's time." So, and he liked, I guess, my attitude. He liked my level of confidence. And so, and I guess they could see that all the practice. They were just waiting for the time they didn't want to start me for game one, but they was waiting for a time to start me. They said, "Why wait? Let's go with him. We think he's the guy." So we played in Elva Bethel. They had A&T had a hell of a team, and we played and we got a whipping. They whipped our tail, right? And but I played well, um, and I got hit, and I kept bouncing up, right? So the next day in the paper, Coach Archie said, the article said, Norfolk State finds a quarterback, which was me, right? So the next game, I'm starting. I know I'm starting. I'm preparing to start. I didn't know I was going to start that day, but now I know I'm going to be the starter going to the season game number 4. We playing Hampton, and Hampton at the time had won their first 3 games by a total of 120 to nothing. They was averaging 40, right? They was averaging 40. Mike Tomlin, coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, well, his father was the fullback. And they had a rushing attack that was bar none. Him and a dude named Sandy Bowers. They was terrorizing. His father was big, man. Big fullback, right? So they hyped him up all week. And I was saying, we're gonna beat these people. We're gonna beat these people. Although we're 1-2 right now, we're gonna beat these people, right? Now here's a guy that's only going to the second start. We're gonna beat these people. Okay. So first half, the stadium is packed. And we go on halftime. We're up. What was it? 20-12. I threw 2 touchdowns in the first half, right? And I'll never forget coming off the field at halftime, and I guess when the fans said, "Hey, young boy, you out there doing it? You doing it?" I said, "Man, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait just a second." So we came back, and it was a heck of an exciting game. Now, once again, we would make big gains and we call back. We had 170 something yards worth of penalties in that game. Right? Yeah, it was crazy. They were throwing flags all over the place, right? So now it's nip and tuck. So we had this series of plays that the coach had introduced in that week of practice. We hadn't done none of this before. It was a play like you run off tackle with the running back, fake the other one go this way, or fake this one, get that guy, blah, 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 blah. So we moving the ball real good. So now the game is tied, and we're doing this series of things. But what I had noticed when I faked him and gave it to him, this defensive end was slicing. I started seeing him slicing. So we on the 5-yard line going in, and I said to my team, I said, "Look, I'm gonna fake this, fake that, and I'm gonna keep it." And we had never ran this play before. So my offensive guard now, who's a senior, who's a captain, he said, "Harvey, you want me to pull with you?" I said, "No, just do the same thing you've been doing, because if you do something different, they might pick this up." So I fake, and the defensive end sliced. I went right outside him, went in the end zone, spiked it, boom. So after the game, we won this game 33-27. After the game, Coach Archie said, the reporters was asking them, "Where did that play come?" Coach Archie said, "We wasn't in our playbook, but it's in our playbook now." So now we're off to the races, We're off to the races, and I became a starter for 4 years at Norfolk State, going forward. And, baseball was alternative that I wanted to play because I played them all in high school, but he would not let me play in college because I had to go to spring football practice. So I had to give up baseball, which I played better than football in high school because I played for 4 years. But the popularity of baseball had started fading compared to football during that time. Baseball used to be the national pastime because all the great brothers was playing baseball. Jackie Robinson started that trend. And then you had Ernie Banks, Willie McCovey, Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson. I mean, you just go down the list, man. So it was an exciting game to watch, exciting game to play. Um, but now I can't play that no more. So I had to strictly stay focused on football. And of course, I had a successful college career. And now it's time to college career is over. I never forget my last game we played against Morgan. And you just don't realize how much you're into this game until you see it's the finale. And I didn't even think of it until it was the finale. And I'll never forget in the locker room after we lost that last game, I said, man, I just got emotional. I got emotional in the locker room. And I said, this is it for me, man. This is it for me playing football, not knowing that I was going to get an opportunity to go to the pros, which is the Rams. Because at the time, they had no black quarterbacks in the pros. Just didn't have them, And I said, man. So I'll never forget. One day out of nowhere, I'm summoned to my coach's office in Norfolk State. Scout from Los Angeles Rams, the legendary Tank Younger, who was a super guy at Grambling, doing beef with Eddie Robinson, that crew. He would put Eddie Robinson on the map. So he gave me a bonus of $500. Yeah, $500, 3-year contract, 14,000 first year, 16,000 second, 18,000 third. If you make the team. So yeah, I'm signed, but I had to play defensive back. I ain't never played defensive back other than Sandlot. So that's where I went, to the Rams, and it was a good experience. But I was aware and enough of how the politics of the game worked at that time because I've always read magazines about sports. I've always followed it. So, I always went with the philosophy of I listen to my heroes, and their message was you don't drink, you don't smoke. If you want to play this game. Didn't know I was naive. These fools was doing it anyway, but that was the message they was giving to players like myself. So I didn't smoke, I didn't drink until I finished playing my college career. But during the season, no, because I always heard what they said. It's gonna hurt your performance. So I listened to that. I listened to, of course, people like Muhammad Ali, who was big at that time because his resistance to authority that wasn't, applicable to what his beliefs were.
Gentlemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali has just refused to be inducted into the United States Armed Forces.
He refused induction on the grounds of his religious convictions on war.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger.
These were, so we kind of picked up some of his philosophies on life. He's a guy didn't even get a high school degree, and but his skill, his talent, his blessings was he was able to not only do this with these, but he could do this with that. So he could talk his way in, talk his way out. He could psych you out emotionally, mentally, if you allow that to happen. If you was weak-minded, he had you. You done. You see what I'm saying? So those kind of guys, personally, what I think I picked up a lot of confidence from, seeing how he did what he did, seeing how Martin Luther King stuck his neck out there for all of us. He stuck his neck out there. You seeing, Hank Aaron and Willie Mays, coming from where they came from and excelling with all the pressure around them, and they delivered over and over and over again. So they didn't let obstacles get in their way. You come at the bat. I was at the game when Hank Aaron hit his 709th home run in Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? I was there. And the next year, of course, when he broke it, and then you know, he getting the hate mail and all that. So you see all these type of things, you know. So when you see all these type of things, you either you gonna pick up something from it to better yourself, to better those around you, to help those around you, or you succumb to it.
I
I
have a
always say,
question. I have a question I know the viewers want to know.
mhm.
A, who was the quarterback at the time for the Rams that you were going to compete against? And second, do you personally know that you were better than him?
Roman Gabriel was the quarterback, but once again, I wasn't gonna get an opportunity to play quarterback in the pros. I didn't get the opportunity. My opportunity was to play defensive back, or no opportunity at all. So Roman Gabriel, Roman Gabriel played well. You know, he was a bona fide pro quarterback, and he had the size. Um, to say if I give an opportunity and knowing how I am and know how I felt about winning and competing, I'm never going to back down. You know, you know, I give credit where credit is due. You know what I mean? I'll be the first one to give it the love somebody have, and I'm always, hey, he got it done. You see what I'm saying? That's how Broadway Joe. That was my other guy. You see what I mean? As far as the quarterback, because that's only quarterbacks I could watch was white quarterbacks. That's what's only out there. You see what I'm saying? But I like Broadway Joe style. That's why I got the nickname Broadway. You know, I wore the first white shoes in CIAA because of Broadway. I like this style. I like this confidence. I like this flair. You know, and I like how he competed. You know, and I like how he threw that ball, just like Johnny U. They could throw that thing any kind of way. You know.
Swag in some respects, but he wasn't wearing the bling, but he was living life large. You know, braggadocious.
I think mentally throwing the football, I feel confident I can play better than anybody that's ever played the position.
Namath, he is looking, he is going to throw long, and Maynard makes the catch.
Joe was more movie star than quarterback at times, you know, just in his lifestyle.
Namath is a superstar and a super swinger.
Joe come in, had a beer in one hand, a girl in the other hand.
Sometimes they talk about drinking and conniving around with ladies and stuff. It seems almost un-American to me for a bachelor not to marry, go around having a drink with a lady now and then, just trying to get by. Look at that shot.
He became such a big personality that he became, in a sense, bigger than the sport.
And the guarantee?
You guys been talking for 2 weeks now. I said, I'm tired of hearing it. I said, I got news for you. We're gonna win the game, I guarantee it.
So you pick up certain things, and man's man. You see what I'm saying? As long as we treating each other on the same thing, same level, we cool. We go somewhere different, there we got a problem. You see what I'm saying? But as long as we on the same page, I don't care what color you are. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna get along with you. If you gonna get along with me, I'm gonna respect you, respect me. That's how it works. So I don't get caught up in because that's a deadbeat horse. You weigh yourself out. And I always think you're thinking you the victim. I've never paint myself as a victim. That means somebody's better than you. That's all that means to me. You see. So that level of faith, trust, and belief is powerful. So when you get in circumstances that's difficult, how do you deal with that? Do you go to get your vices to try to forget it? No, because it's gonna wear off. Okay, so no, you take it head on. You take it head on. When things are going great in our lives, we happy, right? Are we happy? But when you have those struggles, you got to deal with them struggles. You see what I'm saying? They ain't gonna go away if you don't. You got to face them head on. And and the chips gonna fall where they are. But as long as you're giving it your best shot, that's all you can ask for. You learn those type of things when you play team sports. I can't do it without those line guys blocking for me. It's no way possible. I don't get no time to throw. The receivers can't catch no balls. If though they don't open up them holes, those runners can't run through no. They can't get no yardage. So it's a team sport, and we work off of one another. So in life, when you're working on a job, it's a team. In a family, you have to work as a team. You know, individuality in two or more is not going to work. If y'all going different directions, how's it going to work? You know, you don't want it your way, they want it their way. So what happened? Nobody get it anyway. So that's my take on that. So you know that experience played dividends. Paid dividends. You know, in the type of job. Once you know my football career was over. Okay, because once I stopped playing with the Rams, once I got released from the Rams, my head was in the right place. Okay, because I was I was up on what is supposed to what are you supposed to do with your life now? Supposed to fall apart? What are you supposed to do? No, you got to continue to move on. So I had other opportunities to go to the pros once I got released from the Rams. You know, the Redskins had a tryout thing and they invited me to come to with 30 other players, you know. But at the time they had Sonny Jurgensen. Now the opportunity to play quarterback was getting more available. Because now we're talking about 73, 74. Because I started playing semi-pro football here in DC with DC Bears. And we were champions. You know, we had a championship team. And the board invited me in, and like I said, 30 other guys to Redskin Park at the time. And you know, our guys is going out trying to catch passes and stuff like that. We don't know each other. I don't know these guys. They don't know me. But they like the way I was throwing it. So if I was throwing the way that they can catch it, you know, they know they're going to get a look because they're catching the thing, right? So I'll never forget just, I'm in this line, I'm in this line, I'm in this line, okay. So after that little workout we had, the player personnel director for the Redskins at the time, because like I said, they had Sonny Jurgensen, Joe Theismann, who wasn't getting no run yet because it was Sonny and Billy's team. And they was like, we're going to do anything to keep him off the field. Either you going to be the quarterback, or I'll be the quarterback, but he ain't going to be the quarterback. So anyway, so I knew going in that I wasn't going to go to the Redskin camp. I just wanted to get the opportunity for somebody else to see me. So the player personnel director at the time, Tim Terrario, he came up to me and he said, we like what we see, but we want to send you to our minor league team in Pennsylvania. I said, where's that? He said, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Now, that's the first time I ever heard about Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. And I said, now I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm 20, 25, 26. And I'm saying, I got a job that I can count on. I can't quit this job and go up here and I don't get that, and I ain't got no job, you know. So I had to take away my dream of becoming that to say, you know, you got to do something else now. So I stuck with my job, still play semi-pro football for some years. And then I started coaching semi-pro football. And then it was time for family, you know. So I had a son. He was 4. And I said, what's more important, him or the football? My dream or him, you know. So I had to make that decision. I gave up coaching because now coaching became different because, you know, you're coaching semi-pro football players and you're not paying them a whole lot of money. They say too much stuff you can really punish and discipline a pro, or you might not have anybody to play. You know, so you start seeing some things and you say, I done made my part. I done made my mark here. So that was it for me as far as football career. You know, having the mindset of winning attitude. I started coaching 19 unders. So I've coached some of the talented kids in this neighborhood, in this community. Some of them, Stacy Robinson, Ducky Vaughn, Greg, Mr. G. Sanders.
You know what? Let me ask you something. This is big for our story too. I want let's use those names first. You mentioned those names and tell me what you think about those guys' game individually.
Well, Ducky, I always tell Ducky, he's the best point guard I've ever coached, right? And he always credits me with, he says some nice things about me, you know, to let me know how much he really appreciated me and what I was able to do with him. Because I guess my tactics as far as basketball coaching is how I saw Coach Freeman coach. What I did was coach a lot of defense, a lot of freshmen, things of that nature. So I wanted the people to turn the basketball over, and get easy baskets. And then I wanted to always take good shots. But I wanted them to feel comfortable taking shots. I don't want them to be looking over their shoulders. Is this a good shot? I want you to take good shots now. But that's what practice is for. What are good shots? What are not bad good shots? So we developed some powerful teams in rec. They used to call me the John Wooden of the rec league because we won a championship one time down at Bernard. Man, that little gym was packed, man. We used to call it Master Square Guard. That's how tight it was up in there, right?
Where was Ducky from, Har?
Ducky's from a lot of different places, but most of it was out here. I know when I had him, he was living in Glenard, and he was, I think, 18 at the time, and we had a summer league and a winter league at the time, and so it was great competition, man. Great competition, man. A lot of kids left here, went on to college to play. We've had kids who went on to the pro. Kevin Durant was one of our kids. I didn't coach Kevin. I was the director of the community center when he was at Sea Pleasant.
Playing, of course, around this neighborhood. So to see me as little Kevin then to now, I'm sure it's crazy for everybody.
There he is.
Let me get a step away from him so you can get your shot. Your grandmother's right there for you. Just push them as far back as possible.
Yeah, definitely feel like a kid again, Like I said, so many people that I grew up with just around here somewhere. Just so many people. Either in the rec, outside the rec, that was on the street that we drove on. So many people that I grew up with. So yeah, man, that's what it's all about.
But I saw early on the talent he had. I saw the compassion that he had because I used to go to all my kids' games to support them. I wanted all of them to look up and say, "Mr. Harvey's there for them," which is what I still do, and which I think is very important because I don't know how many championships we have won over the years, but some we've lost. And to see how a kid take a loss, Kevin took a loss hard, because they was undefeated. In the championship game, they lost by 1 point. And he was the tallest thing he had on the team. And I'll never forget, he was emotional after the game. And I went down from the bleachers and talked to all of them, but specifically him, not knowing he was going to be what he became. You gave it the best you had. This feeling of losing, you don't feel good. You got to work harder to get better in this game called basketball. You got to put the work in. If you don't want to feel like this is what you got to do. Because it ain't going to do it for you. You got to do it, So as you see what he's turned out to be. Highly competitive. Probably one of the top 10 players of all time. He's going to be in the top 5 scorers of all time. Think about that. Of all time. All the guys that's played basketball, he's going to be in the top 5. And it's not like he's a gunner. He you know what I mean? He takes great shots. He worked hard. I used to see him down there working hard. And, he was focused. You can see that early on. I got pictures of Kevin, getting trophies, when we gave our trophies out, when his little scoop head was 9 years old. The work ethic. And the key of that was what I allowed the kids to do with Sea Pleasant, because I used to always tell my staff, we have to take a special interest in these kids. Okay? We really, really do. Because a lot of these kids come from single family homes. I said, we're going to never be too busy for them. I always told them, I don't care what it is. My doors always knock on my door. Got something you want to talk about? I don't care what it is. Doesn't matter. But I'd rather you talk to me than try to find something on the streets and get it the wrong way. I'm gonna tell you the right way. I'm gonna tell you the wrong way, and I'm gonna tell you that you can be anything you want to be if you believe in yourself. Okay, you don't have to follow the crowd for nothing to fit in. You know, you look. They will see what you're about if you're about something.
So many people like Ducky.
Mm-hmm.
Great name. I want you to develop for us. You mentioned what kind of player was Mr. G. Greg Sanders?
Mr. G was one of the best shooters basketball. He ain't like to pass much, but he could shoot that thing with that left hand. It was lethal. He was very consistent with that shot. 6'5", 6'6". I think he's the leading scorer in St. Barnabas history. Think about that. That's what Bob Lanier went to. Mr. G, the cameraman. You know, a lot of people don't understand how great he was on the basketball court. You know, I had him and Ducky was on the same team. Think about that. Think about that. Stacy at the time when I left Peppermill.
That's Stacy Robinson, right?
Stacy Robinson.
How good was he?
Stavis was, look, I had him when he was 12 years old. I let him play with us, grown folks, 16 years old, 17-year-old kids. He was holding his own. He was a natural basketball player. He could jump, he could pass, he could shoot. He could do everything. You know, he had so much talent. But he, you know, when you had that kind of talent and you in that environment of AAU, you know, people always want a piece of you some kind of way. So they'll pump you up. They'll pump you up. You know, reason why they all still respect and like me is because I always told them the truth. I always told them the truth. You know what I mean? And I'll tell them what they they needed to hear. Not what they wanted to hear. And they respected that. I told them what they needed to work on about their own self. You know, I said, basketball is something that is your talent. Who are you as a person? Who do you want to be remembered as a person? Who you want to be respected? And I see Ducky has come out of some dark times. And he's found the Lord. And he's doing things that I used to do with people. He works with kids. He's very smart. He's a kid. Went to Cornell University, Ivy League School. Play basketball. You know, he played ball in North Carolina. He played ball, of course, up here. And tremendous competitor. I said, I used to call him a little Oscar Robertson because he had an Oscar Robertson type of a game. He'd back you down like he big. You see what I'm saying? If this boy was 6'2", 6'3", goodness gracious. That's all I can say. And had the same kind of heart and determination that he had, and confidence level that he had.
That's your question. Brought something to mind. Can you tell our audience about something that's a Fairmont Heights legendary staple, both your lens, things you did at this particular place, and why was that place important? Tell people about Melvin's Crab House, those tournaments in like paralleling Rucker in New York.
Well, we was the Rucker. Melvin's place was the Rucker of Prince George's County. It was like the Rucker League because, I mean, he had pros coming in here as well. You know, not only had Melvin's Crab House, but he's always had the Big M tournament. He used to be at Woodson High School. Okay, H.D. Woodson was able to get that gym, and you know it would be pros. Moses and Malone played in that. When Moses was going to Maryland, Melvin got a hold of him and he had him on his squad. And I'll never forget. Now, like I'm saying, I'm starting to play basketball there, right? So Melvin had an 8-man tournament, and you know, you being the tournament director, you're going to stack it the way you want to stack it.
This is at H.D. Woodson or at Melvin's Crab House?
No, this is H.D. Woodson. This is when we had the gym, the big gym. You know, we had no space for everybody to sit down and clap, or you name it. So this year, I was playing with a team called Trice Pros, and we got Mitchell from Bernard was our quote unquote coach, but I was really the coach. I got all the players and things of that nature. He's always Harvey, I need some players. He had to get the money. So man, we went to so I was still in Norfolk, right? So I said, okay, I'll put a team together because there was no boundaries at this time in reference to pros.
All right, give me a year, please.
This year was what year was this? 19, I would say 70, maybe 74, 75 summer. 74, 75, 76. Anyway, yes, it had to be around 75, 76 because I was already playing with Trices. So I was really, really tight with the Virginia Squire basketball players in old ABA.
Dr. J played there, right?
I remember Dr. J first came up. Okay. Dr. J not only played there, George Gervin played there, Charlie Scott played there, Willie Sojourner played there, George Carter played there, and our local hero, Fatty Taylor, played there. Fatty was the point guard. So here's the deal. We're going to get into the tournament. And I said, okay, there was no limitations. So like I say, I went to all the Squires games because Fatty was from Fairmont Heights. I went to all the Squire games. People thought I was on the damn team. You know what I mean? But these all give me their tickets, and I would sell tickets. I just made my hustle. I would sell my tickets and then go on to the game, sit right there. So I said, okay, I sent in my roster. And I had, guess what I my roster had? Dr. J, Fatty, George Gervin. All of them was coming from Virginia to come up here to play in this tournament. Myself and some other guys. I used to play with them in pickup games. Bobby Dandridge. See, we used to play pickup games. Bobby Dandridge, Dr. J, Fatty, George Carter, Willie Soldier, Mike Malloy. Mike Malloy. Where Mike went to what was the name of that school? That was my man. Funny dude, man. Willie Soldier. I mean, these were some good dudes, man. We had a good time. So Melvin saw that. Because Melvin was putting us, he thought I was having my little regular team. We ain't have a whole lot of big names. You see what I'm saying? He was gonna play us first. Once he saw that roster, no. He banned all them dudes, man. No pros can play. No pros can play. The next year, pros could play. You see what I'm saying? And so that the Big M tried a tournament, man. It was a very, very competitive tournament. And Melvin always was stacked. With he got the cream of players he wanted. He was stacked now. Ducky played for Melvin. After he got older and wasn't playing rec ball no more, he played with Melvin. And
All right. Let me see that as I need your lenses. See, I remember I was very, 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 very young, very, very young. But I remember Harvey. I'm sorry. I remember Ducky and Mr. G. These are just memories on the same team for Melvin. I remember the Bullets players doing that. I want you to expand this for me because I'm going to be wrong, in a gray area because I was so young. But I remember. Tell me why Uncle Butch's team, the Executive 3, had to always have high school players and stuff like that. Yeah, he had bias and all those kind of guys, though.
What Bush and Bates and Bluff Parker was doing, they were giving kids opportunities to be showcased and then get basketball scholarships. And so a lot of them didn't have their grades together. So they had some connection with the people out of Dodge City junior colleges. So that was their role. I thought they did it extremely well because the interest was this helping young black young men get their education. They did a great job doing that, and that's what Butch and them did at that time, and Fluff and Bates, So they did something great for the community in their way of doing things, But it's so much history, okay, in this particular Prince George County area of athletes, sports figures from all walks. I mean, come on, Sugar Ray Leonard came up through where I work at. He came through Park and Planet's programs, boxing programs. Derek Holmes. Derek and Ray. They was like the same when they was young. They both was promising Olympic threats, and both of them won medals. Derek just went the wrong way. You see what I'm saying? When he didn't see when your hopes get up so high, and sometimes we pump each other up too much when a young age, and when you fall, you don't know what to do. You just don't know what to do because you're so used to being here. That's why with me with AU, right? I understand all that. You know, I hate to see guys lose their college eligibility earlier than they're ready for this next level. There's been some great college players, but are they ready for this next level? There ain't but so many jobs up there, man. Okay, and not only is so many jobs, once you got a guaranteed contract, you might be better than that guy got that guaranteed contract. But if you not super better than him, you're not gonna get that job.
Harvey,
So
we're at a great time as far as what I have to cut up and what we've covered. I want you to take people home with something I held on to. I remembered you telling me. Tell people about your relationship with our legendary Len Bias and your take on what happened to him and what that meant to you. How'd that make you feel?
okay, now Len was, I had Len when he was maybe 11 or 12 years old, but I didn't coach Len. Mr. Mack coached Len. So I always coached the 19 and under. Len was just another kid that came to the rec. He didn't stand out at that time. Didn't any different than anybody else. Like Kevin stood out in my eyes at that time. He wasn't as developed at that age as he became later on, and his body filled out. So once I left Columbia Park, Len then, started developing maturely, physically. Then he went to Northwestern, okay? Northwestern High School, because he couldn't go to Fairmont High School because there was busing there. You see what I'm saying? So he went to Northwestern, and his career took off. And then, of course, he took off in Maryland and became dynamite. I mean, dynamite. I mean, if you will still remember Len, this guy never made it to the pros, unfortunately, because he could have been down the top 5 of all time. Because not only he had the physical power, the jump shot was perfect. We go up, straight up. The elbow was locked. The jump shot was perfect. The form, and then he'd go over you. Then he'd block your stuff. Then he'd D you up. Then he fast. I mean, what he didn't have. You see what I'm saying? Ask Michael Jordan. Yeah, ask all them boys from ACC back about Len Bias. So Kevin, less than 5 miles away on the other spectrum, C Pleasant, and Len 5 miles to north in Columbia Park. One of our kids right now, Tracy Weaver, Troy Weaver, is the general manager of Detroit Pistons. He come from Columbia Park. We coached him. Then he became a coach. And then he went to a variety of different colleges as assistant coach. Then he became assistant general manager of Oklahoma Thunder. And now he got his break. And he got a young team. He's taking his lump right now. I hope they can be patient with him because he got a good mind. He got a good basketball mind. Because he learned. He learned the traditional way that we all learn, you see. So Bias is great. His family is great. And Jay, I knew Jay a little bit better because Jay was Jay used to come to my community center in North Brentwood, and Jay was hanging with some of the same guys that his brother was hanging with. I guess they tried to take him under the wing after the tragedy that occurred, and unfortunately, Jay was in a tragedy as well, over some BS. Some BS, buying some jewelry for his girl, PG Plaza. Yeah, he's come down all the time. And the other kid, Curry, who was another teammate of theirs, he used to live over top. His father used to live on top of me when I used to live in apartments.
Tell us about Derek Curry.
Derek Curry, he's another one, man. I mean, he never was in one of my wrecks growing up. He lived over top of me. I didn't get to know him like that until, I got to know him as my little neighbor. I was cool with his father, you know what I mean? But, you can get yourself wrong, cooked up with the wrong people, with the wrong kind of goals or where you think it's supposed to happen. And you're taking a chance, it's fast and quick over here, but it's quick going the other way as well.
What kind of player was Derek?
I didn't see Derek play that much, but what I was told, I saw him play a little rec ball. Strong, jump good, good jump shot. Surprised me because I didn't see him because they had moved. And when I was working in North Brentwood, he was coming around with Jay and Brian Tribble and that crew. And that's how, I said, this is little Dirk. This the same little Dirk I've been reading about? It's amazing, man. And you just see these different generations of talent and kids, but they all want the same thing: love, respect, and attention. They all want the same thing. If you can get them to see that, all that facade, that toughness, and all that, all that goes away. You see what I'm saying? Because there's no need for it. Okay? You think it's a need because it's how you have to fit in wherever the environment you're in, because that's all you know. So you don't judge people based upon what you might see and say, damn, that's how that person is. You don't know why that person do what that person do. But it's a reason. There's always a reason, And we live in a society right now. Yeah, look, I'm on this job now. I refuse to retire. 52 years.
Why though?
Yeah, that's why I don't. Yeah, 52 years and counting. Okay? And I always look at it like this. This is my way of being grateful and thankful for what all people have done for me, And most people see kids today, don't know them, they're afraid of kids just by the way they look. Okay? And they look that way because they want you to be afraid of them. But half of them are afraid of themselves. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't even know themselves. So to me, like I've always said, there's no bad kid. They might come from some bad situations, some bad environments, but deep down, they want a good life too.